Ivano, all the other distinguished colleagues. Normally I'm here, I call that emotional homeland, because I had the privilege to grow up in Yugoslavia, and I still feel that like emotional homeland. It's not political intentions, dominancy, hegemony, it's just emotion, post-emotion. I believe it's a right emotion. It was the way to understand many things which are now separated, and to get some kind of more comprehensive view of differences. Lack of democracy, but more culture and diplomacy inside those elements. And I visited a few times, even this parliament. I had that honor, and it's not first time in this hall. And I'm glad to see that you are doing the right job. And all my nature is parliamentarism. Parliament. I started with 27 and spent 35 years in the parliament in the four states. Not just live. I spent in Tito's Yugoslavia, and Milošević's Yugoslavia, in Serbia and Crna Gora, and I announced independence in Montenegro. Yeah, and that's quite enough experiences. You are right. You know, when I speak with my son, I told him, I just offer you one thing, experience. It is most expensive things in the life. You paid it with life. And that's the reason why experience is so expensive. And thanks for your understanding, your comprehensive mind to understand how it's important to exchange opinion. We heard on first session very different opinion about many things in this time, and I will start. I decided to speak by heart. That's good English word to speak without paper. And I believe that's the right place for the speaker by heart. I spoke all the time in the parliament without paper, and that's it was privilege to use emotions, knowledge, and interdependency. And interdependency among the interlocutors, and that's the way how I think that we, like group, can help all of us. And I'll start with Henry Kissinger. But first time he announced in the Wall Street Journal, 2008, the other definition. The word is in this disorder. He didn't use the word house. He used the word disorder. If you see all religion, all cultures, everything becoming with the house. Every new epoch is started with some kind of the house. It means in human nature, it means wars. But that epoch started practically with economic crisis, financial crisis, which was not caused by war. Started with the mistakes in the systems, and I will use the unpolite words in executives, but very polite in the parliament, with corruption. In parliament, we are very frequently use the word corruption, because we are not executive. We are usually accusing executives for the corruption, not us, because we don't have that power. But Kissinger practically put the basic line for the new epoch. What will happen? Let's see. What is base for optimism for me, for the other probably threatened, that epoch started with something what was unbelievable until that momentum. That great war of China protected and rescued Wall Street. And for me, that's base for the new epoch with the optimism. That's interconnection or interdependency. When China financed a lot of debts in the banking sector in Europe and the United States, was unbelievable before that. But it happened. Two wars connected after that crisis more than before. And that's based now for the next negotiations, next talks in the future between two of the biggest power in the modern world. China is more than the state. Let's be clear. China is civilization. If you are existing 4,000 years, you are not the state. You are civilization, and that's the reason why I'm optimist. The other can see the war, I can see the optimism related with these events from 2008 and 2009, let's see. I had the privilege to be on the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy 2013 in Berlin. And the topic was very smart, with a lot of visionary, like every good politics. social inequality, cradle for instability. And that's mantra in all history of human beings. Even in pharaohs needed some kind of the advertising. Ramses III has knowledge about it, how to communicate with the slaves and not citizens, with the parts of his state. And that's always economy producing those type of disorder, etc., etc. And that's inevitable. We try to see, despite, and we spent a lot of time to explain that financial crisis is not political crisis. Now all of us can see that was causing many political outcomes, including this aggression in Ukraine. I had privilege, after 4 my mandates like President of Parliament, I was even President of Parliamentary Assembly of OSCE. And in the key momentum when Russia made annexation of Crimea and organized first meeting between Ukrainian Rada and Russian Duma, just 2 months after annexation. And what in that case, my reason for pessimism, not like this one between United States and China. I had a meeting with Narishkin, he is now chief of FSB, Matvienko, she is still the president of Council of Federation, and Turchinov, he was acting president of the state and president of the parliament. But in this period, I had on the Russian side one general from Soviet Union period, with ideology, with beliefs, out of corruption, if I can use that word, after all my experience with him. And he pushed the others to work with Ukrainians, like close nations, to find some kind of solution and open the talks. 2 months, and recognize Rada like legitimate parliamentary body because they kick out Yanukovych like president and they accuse them against the constitution. Surely against the constitution has done it. But it was period when you have leadership with some kind of beliefs. And it was possibilities to open the doors. In many elements, after 3.5 decades, even I spent 7 months in US Congress in Appropriations Committee, I felt how is important Parliament. And that's my point. How is important this, not just words, temple of democracy. Without that control, that's effective control, we have a lot of issues in disbalance, disorder in democracies. Probably I was obsessed because I spent so many time, so long period in parliament, but I was even in coalition, second guy in coalition, 18 years, but I can feel both elements in that game. Now we have issue is in all democracy, like United States, because Capitol Hill is not powerful like before. They are not balanced with the executives. I will not make comment about rule of law in the United States in present time, but that's the balance. I saw that how the seniors in Capitol Hill in that period are powerful to stop executives to make enormous mistakes. How after 40 years serving in the Congress, in the Senate, Senator McCain, or Congressman Bill Young and the others, they have the power to stop wrong decisions in executives. And they have been really check and balances in democracy, very important for the war. Now, if we have issue, we don't have this balance in the United States. My humble opinion. And in all our democracies, our new democracies, we have to work on that. To have much more powerful parliaments, it means more stability, more social justice, like a base for political stability. And that's my message related possibilities. It's for cultural diplomacy. And parliament is comprehensive. All religions, all nations, all beliefs, or family beliefs. New time is not basic civilization like before. Before, every civilization is connected with the religion. Through the culture, through the life, style of the life. Now for Europe, for example, I don't speak about enlargement, about our membership in EU, but you have simple issue last few decades. Inevitable issue I would like to point about migrations. Not to miss what President told, and parliamentarians rejected. Like President of the Parliamentary Assembly of OSCE, I established the Mediterranean Forum. I call that issue of 2.5 billions. For me, advantage of 2.5 billions. You have young population, poor, economically poor nations on one side of the Mediterranean coast, Arab nations and the others. On the other side of the Mediterranean coast, you have Europe, elder population, average age in Italy is 55, rich, and with a lot of challenges how to keep economy alive without new knowledge, young generation, etc., etc. And we are permanently escaping to face with inevitable issue. We are speaking about migration, but causes two elements, poor and rich nations close. It was always cause for the wars in the history. How Mongols came in Europe, how Ottomans came in Europe, poor, rich. That was motivation for that. Answer, normally I have to offer answer. Answer is this type of approach. Cultural, not diplomacy, culture in knowledge and put the dams to ethnic nationalism, to prejudice in educational process. We don't have that in Europe. I had privilege that I grew up in Montenegro. All my predecessors, my grandfathers, fighting the Ottoman Empire for centuries. And I am successor of the small part of Montenegro independent in the last 5 centuries, purely Orthodox, purely Orthodox. But what's happened in the 19th century in Montenegro? Quite different than the other nations, strong nations on the Balkans related with the Ottoman Empire. Our king left when somebody will use the word deliberate, somebody tell you occupate new territories. He left them Quran. Don't forget, Montenegro was theocratic Orthodox state until 1851. Yeah. Fight it 4 centuries of the Ottoman Empire. He left them military units in Dulcin, in Plav, in Rožaje, even Quran for first 10 years, like ruling law. No one mosque in Montenegro destroyed in the 19th century. In our vicinity, in Belgrade was 300 mosques. Now survive 1, so-called survive 1. And they destroyed only that's one. And that's long-term challenge for the politicians. But it's only one way if you would like to face only the future. And that's issue of the modern time, a lack of leadership. People are counting time in mandate, with the mandate mind, how to get votes. But if you would like to create serious policy, especially we like small nation, you need vision and to take risk and to wait history to make judgment about your achievements. Not just to think about voters who will make judgment about your achievements in 4. Because our challenges, a new time in this order, challenges are not issue of 1 mandate or 2 mandates. That's issue of the changing or so-called new epoch. So-called new epoch. That's our job while we are together to try to persuade the younger generation to take risk in politics. Without that, it's not possible. When we started to fight for independence in Montenegro, like anti-war movement, I left military units 3 days before attack on Dubrovnik. I was recruiting like in the reserve unit. And I told publicly it's not my war. Luckily, I survived thanks to commander of that unit. He, after that, became commander in defense of Dubrovnik, Nojko Marinović. But my mother, when I came home, told me it was better to die than you return. We are facing with that. We are facing with that type of the cultural prejudice, and we are escaping to face only that. I just finish with that. Sorry, like every parliamentarian, and I need more time always. President, chairman will take me. Stop. That's a reason I strongly believe that it's possible to change the people and to change the time. People believe in good. People in the modest, people in families have that ethic, like core of the family. That's in the family existing, and we just need to communicate with that and to try to escape politicians who are cash and carry politicians, and impose the prejudice like the easiest way to get voters. I told you, everybody in my family has been for the war, to attack Dubrovnik or something like it, because it was propaganda. and a lot of prejudice. That's reason for me to understand. And Montenegro has, like Macedonia, those advantages. That's for you and us. That's life. It's not something in the books, something in the papers or in newspapers or on TV stations. That's way of thinking, way of life, code of honor. What is very important for all of us in politics. And I strongly believe that we have to return faith in the politics, or demagogy will be ruling with our societies, like in the 20th years, last century, or 19th in Yugoslavia, because the surface of civilization values is very thin. Always just small number of the people leading with the right values, and people will follow you. But you are not offering that, you are offering just wrong things. They'll vote against, not pro. And that's some of my humble thoughts, and thanks for opportunity to communicate with all of you and to see all of you and to hear all of you to try to rethinking our statements. Thanks a lot, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was beautiful listening to you and traveling with you through these experiences, from geopolitical stories to the personal experiences from Montenegro and all these personal things. Thank you very much. By the way, after that I will need to ask you how you remain 4 mandates as a Speaker of Parliament. 10%. Now I will give I will give the floor to our respected guest for
Sorry.
another amendment.
Krivokapić called me in last phase parliamentary dictator. He called me parliamentary dictator because I voted with opposition, some decisions related with the economy, with the other things, and he called me parliamentary dictator publicly. And that's the reason how I survived.
Okay,
it's not suggestion for you.
I get the message. But I cannot be that, unfortunately.